Trust me, car keys actually have a long story to tell. Okay, it is more of me having a long story to tell about car keys. But hey, potato potato, right? Now, let us really start. We all know there was a time the world had no cars. Then horses or the natural transportation scheme were the best means of moving from one place to another. Therefore, you could have wondered how cars came about. So yeah, you could have thought of the history of cars, but have your thoughts strayed to car keys? Like, have you ever held your car keys in your hands and wondered how they came about? Have you imagined driving without keys? My inner spirit doesn't lie to me, and it is screaming you have never thought about the evolution of car keys. Well, let's get to it. But are you ready? Our time machine takes us far back as the... Can you guess? You can't? Well, I'll actually tell you. But before I do, let me ask you a question. Do you know about honey? Oh my god. You don't? Do you want to stay stuck in the past? Getting stuck in old times was a joke. Ha ha ha. But really, using honey is like unlocking a box of goodies. It is a browser plugin that works best with Chrome. Honey seeks to make the world a fair place for everyone by providing you with information that will help you make the best decisions with your money. Honey is your best shot at shopping online because I help out by giving coupons or promotional codes that make buying products on the internet very easy. Do you love what you hear? Do not hesitate to use the link in the description. You can thank me by liking this video. Have you? Did you click it yet? Back to our time machine. Cars have been in existence since the 17th century. Cruising definitely has been here for a long time, and it is safe to say that it's eternal. Those cars, however, are nothing like the fast and sleek cars we have now. That's not surprising. Technology has a way of upgrading its game of everything, and in this case, its car game. But let me ask, what would the world look like without cars? I don't want to imagine. The old cars were really complicated because they required cranking the engine to start them. Cranking wasn't easy because it meant following different processes for your car to transport you to your destination. I bet car races wouldn't have occurred to them then because driving didn't come easy at all. In fact, there was a trend that existed then. It was only trained chauffeurs that drove around. Imagine not being able to cruise around now because you have to learn different processes to get your car moving. That's actually unimaginable as that elevates your car to the status of an exam that tests you daily. Apart from the seemingly exam-like experience people had with driving, the non-existence of keys came with another problem, and it was that cars weren't safe at all. This means that some Mr. Christopher, back then, woke up to a cleared spot that should have had his car. Oh man, that's some loss for Mr. Christopher. The cars that were made during that period maintained the keyless pattern until some miracle happened in 1910. That year, cars started coming with keys. The keys, however, weren't made to start the cars as they were ignition keys. Basically, those keys just locked the ignition of the cars, and putting cars in motion still required cranking the engine. At this point, I have every reason to believe that driving was and still remains an exercise. So, let us carry out an exercise too. Are you ready? It is actually a simple exercise that involves moving your hand to like this video. That's not all. Do move your hand again to press the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our videos. Back to our story. Ignition keys were in vogue till 1949. In 1949, the story really changed, and the story changer or the car that worked the trick was Chrysler. Chrysler's design in 1949 wasn't an ignition key, but a starter key. Do you know how in recent times all we need to put our car in motion is a key? Yeah. Chrysler did that. Just before you start thinking Chrysler is a person, let me state that it is a company that makes cars. Yeah. Therefore, the models of Chrysler cars released in 1949 were the ones that came with starter keys. The model eliminated the long processes that came with cranking the engine. I am sure you are also sending prayers to the manufacturers of the 1949 model of Chrysler right now because life is way easier with keys that start the car once they are put in the ignition hole. A perfect key that fits the design of Chrysler is the key that is used now for our doors. Yeah, definitely the single-sided keys. Just as the name suggests, those keys could only be inserted into the ignition hole using one side. You should note that the starter keys didn't solve the problem of car theft. All the thieves needed then was to perfect their game of picking locks, and they definitely were already going down the street with someone else's cruise machine. I don't want to laugh. I won't. Okay. Yeah. I actually just remembered something that happened to my neighbor. Well, my neighbor once raised an alarm that his car had been wheeled away just for him to remember a few minutes later that he and his wife had always used the same car. What simply happened was that she went grocery shopping. Tell me he didn't laugh because Oh man, don't blame me, alright? Chrysler was used without any contender till 1965. In 1965, a new design for keys was released by Ford. The keys invented were double-sided keys. These keys were easier because the driver does not have to pay attention to just one side. Both sides would put the car in operation. You remember I told you car theft still existed with the keys? Yeah? Awesome. In dealing with that, Chevrolet in 1986 made cars that came with keys with a coded resistor. This was a huge improvement. The next wave that keys witnessed was the introduction of a remote system for cars. The car that introduced this design was the 1987 Cadillac Alante. The remote system achieved locking or opening the doors of cars from a distance. This remote system trickled down till modern times, as many car manufacturers have used and are still using it. Another notable transformation that car keys underwent happened in the 1990s. Different kinds of keys were designed during this period, but before broadly discussing the designs of the 1990s, it is necessary to state that a key known as a tib key first came with the 1989 Merkur Scorpio. The same tib key was adopted by the 1990 Jaguar car series. This key had a worthy design because it was designed to have 6 rotary discs in it. These discs had to be turned in the right direction for the car to be unlocked. Undoubtedly, it was a greater shot at ensuring the security of cars. The tib key was quite widely used because Ford used a design for lots of its products. The last product of Ford that had the design was the Ford Transit Connect models of 2010 to 2013. Wait, do you actually know that you are very attractive? Do you doubt me? The bugs actually agree with me because why do you think they sting? Oh, don't get lost. We are still in the keys of the 1990s. During that period, keys known as laser cut keys were introduced. Can you take a wild guess of the car it came with? Let's not long this matter though. I mean, we know how your guess game is. So, the laser cut keys came with the 1990 Lexus LS400. When you were looking for keys that fit the description sturdy and thick, your pick should be a laser cut key. Laser cut keys were designed to have transponders in them. The effect of transponders with that particular key was made for just that vehicle. It looks more like a marriage that no one else could come into for me. You already know, right? Picking that kind of key was way too difficult for thieves. I have been wanting to state it, and now is the right time. Actually, a lot of ingenuity went into keys. I mean, we see them now and don't even imagine they had gone through different phases. Wow, the human mind is innovative and beautiful. The next key evolution is one I consider stylish because it comes with a fob. The fob is a remote control for cars. The fob made it easy for the car to be hidden away when it wasn't in use. Bringing the key out of the fob was easy too, because all that needed to be done was to press a button by the side of the fob. The car that introduced this type of key was the 1990 Mercedes-Benz SL. The evolution of keys in the 1990s hasn't finished yet, because in 1993, Chevrolet Corvette used keys known as the proximity key. This key is unique and electronic because it makes keyless operation with locking, unlocking, and driving your car possible. This design was also used for the 2003 Mercedes-Benz model. However, this key wasn't one that lasted. Woo! I just realized this time machine ride has been a long one, but don't be scared. We won't be stuck in the past. In 2004, there was another kind of key that was introduced by the Chevrolet Malibu. The model introduced the remote start key. Remote start keys are electronic, and they also make it possible to lock, unlock, drive, and warm your car from afar by pressing a button on the key. These remote start keys, that are also known as smart keys, are still being used in recent times by different car manufacturers. It is a great one because who doesn't want ease and an equal sleek key with a sleek car? Not me, and not you either. In recent times, the design of keys has extended to be able to lock your car from a very long distance and even park your car using a touchscreen. The cars that gave that were the 2016 BMW series. The BMW car key game has even gotten more intriguing as the company has entered a deal with Apple. This would allow your iPhone to operate as a digital car key. Let me state at this point that Tesla as of 2018 was already on another level because their models were no longer coming with the usual keys, but a key card and a smartphone app that allows you to fully operate your car. Definitely, there are always levels to everything. In the year 2000 and... Do you really want to know more? I am sorry, but we have come to the end of our ride and our time machine is back in the present. I told you, we wouldn't be getting stuck in the past. So did you enjoy the ride through the evolution of car keys? I just want to put it out now that the future isn't certain, but we can be certain that you will always know the history of car keys because we took this ride together.